I'm Johnny McKnight, and I am a graduate of the Contemporary Theatre Practice course at the what was Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, and I am now here working with the BA third year's musical theatre at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland on Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Well, I think it's dead important that you go back and revisit, because I studied a completely different course, and I studied devising, and actually to come back, I suppose it's sort of weird because you reflect back on your own journey. So I started as a deviser, and it's sort of, I suppose, a strange journey where you end up coming back directing a piece of pre-written musical theatre. But I love working with the students because I love seeing artists at the very beginning of their career where they're like sponges, they're just in the room and ready to soak up as much as possible, and finding out who they are still, and finding out what path they're about to go on, and finding out what makes them tick. I think it's a really dead exciting stage. And I remember, particularly when we had outside directors coming in, it gave you sort of a chance for folk to see you fresh. So sort of their feedback would be different, and the way you were perceived would be sort of different. And you get a different perspective, so you could see how people work across the spectrum rather than, you know, just those people that have guided you through 3 years. You could sort of rebrand yourself almost and go, I'm not the mental person anymore, or I certainly did. I'm now Cam for this show. They could all play instruments. They're amazing singers, they're amazing dancers, amazing actors. Like, they're industry ready by the time, especially now they're industry ready by the time you hit third year, you can see that they're ready to be employed and they're ready to go into the industry and start working in the industry. They've already, you can see they've taken on the training and the skills-based training, and now they're ready to put it into practice. After 4 years, I left with the confidence to call myself a theatre maker, which meant I was happy to perform, I was happy to write, I was happy to devise, I was happy to direct, I was happy to teach. So I left with all those skills when I came in with pretty much nothing. And I think it's why probably my career path's taken loads of weird turns and twists that even I don't really know where it goes next, because I sort of trained, our training, particularly for contemporary theatre practice, was really about learning all the different departments and taking all of them on board and trying it all to make your own piece of work fit. So the difference in 4 years, I can't even really put it into words. Like, I genuinely came in, I couldn't have known less. Like, my only piece of theatre reference when I started here was that I'd seen Les Mis, and I think that was it. And I left, like, my mind was blown every other week. I was like, how do I not know this? Like, because it was just a completely different culture. It was a completely different set of peers. It was just a completely, it was a proper training ground and I left with the confidence to give anything a go. Me and Julie formed Random Accomplice when we left, mainly because I left here and just thought, well, there's not going to be much performance work for, well, actually I got offered quite a few performance jobs, but they were all playing gay hairdressers. And I thought, well, that's not really where I see the rest of my life going. So we decided to form a theatre company and make our own work and basically put ourselves in shows and make work and try writing and try directing. So it's been a mental journey. So this is us about 13 years. We've been to off-Broadway, we toured to like Prague. Last year we did a run down in London for a month. So it's sort of been a really sort of incredible journey, and it's been new writing has been our focus as a theatre company, new writing and Scottish work and Scottish voices and putting that on stage, and still comedy being at the heart of it. Comedy and entertainment and giving folk a good night out and making their own feel a bit less heavy is sort of what we try to think at the back of your head whenever we're making work. So I mean, it's been a sort of incredible journey, particularly because we started off as really just good pals, but actually something else came for that was really creative for the pair of us. Glasgow, there is no other city, I don't think, in the world like it. People tell you how it is. It's straight talking. It can be as fast moving or cosmopolitan as you like, or you can go on a train 20 minutes away and you can be in the middle of the countryside, and you can go to Loch Lomond and pretend like nothing else happens in the world, and it's a nice wee haven. There's a massive theatre scene in Glasgow. The other thing is there's a proper community in Glasgow. When I left college in particular, we were programmed at the Arches within probably about a month of leaving here, because and that building doesn't exist anymore, but Andy Arnold now runs the Tron, and there is a definite culture in Glasgow that the community is there to support you regardless of what stage of your career at, that people are there to celebrate you learning your craft, learning your skill, and willing to support you learning it, rather than it being about success or failure. It feels like a supportive city and a supportive network of like artists who are, I feel like it's a real community. It's got real heart and soul to it. And if you've messed up, folk are really happy to tell you. I like that. It's straight talking, it's no nonsense. And there's loads of theatres. There's a really big theatre scene here from all different, and by theatre I mean that across the board, whether it's your devised or live art or panto or musical theatre. There's a big eclectic range in what is pretty much a city you can walk around in about an hour. So I can't imagine no being in Glasgow. I just think it's the best city to be in.